I'm sitting here holding something that lived inside of me for a very long time. My new book, You Weren't Born to Fit In. And honestly, there's something surreal about finally holding it in my hands. Yes, I changed the cover. There's something about finally holding your book in your hands that changes everything. Even though I wrote it and I edited it and I read these words more times than I can count on the screen, actually sitting with the physical book and turning the pages slowly, feeling the energy of the story in my hands, it felt different. And in that moment, when I completed the first read through, I realized something. The cover was beautiful because I followed the industry's rules on self-help books, cover creation, but the book itself was asking for something softer. And you know what's actually kind of ironic? When I first held the printed book in my hand, something did feel off. The original cover I created didn't fit the book anymore. And I actually laughed because the title is You Weren't Born to Fit In. How perfect is that? Even the cover had to go through its own transformation before aligned with what the book truly was. And honestly, that realization opened something deeper in me. As many of you know, I was adopted. I was born with one name, and then my name changed. And I've realized throughout life that we are constantly evolving through different identities, different understandings, different versions of ourselves. And even though this book changed names 3 times before it finally became what it was also meant to be, I think it was more than 3 times. Oh, well, I think there's a lesson in that. We are not meant to stay frozen in one version of ourselves forever. We are meant to grow, to expand, and to question, and to rediscover and evolve. Yes, stagnancy can feel comfortable, predictable, but we are human beings living a spiritual life, and spirituality is our birthright. We are born connected, yet somewhere along the way, many of us place that connection on the back burner. While we tend to everyone and everything else around us. I can't tell you how many people say to me, I want to feel more spiritual. I want more peace. I want to feel connected again. But then comes the next sentence. I just don't have the time. And maybe this is the gentle truth. If something matters to us deeply enough, we eventually make space for it. It may not appear perfectly, and it definitely doesn't just appear overnight, but when we do it intentionally, it appears more often because peace isn't something waiting for you inside a vacation or another material purchase. It can't be found on a bookshelf, although my book can help. But no matter how many books you read, you're not going to find it in a church or another achievement, and not even in another person. It's not hidden somewhere outside of you, waiting to finally arrive. Peace begins within. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Divine Angelic Guidance. My name is Michelle Irene Stupski, your host. I am a certified spiritual life coach, an international best-selling author, speaker, and creator of You Weren't Born to Fit In. But more than any title, it's simply someone walking this journey right alongside you. A woman who has searched for meaning, questioned who she was beneath the roles, and slowly learned that peace was never something outside of me to chase, but it was something within me waiting to be remembered. This space was created for honest conversations about healing, spirituality, belonging, and what it truly means to come home to yourself in a world constantly asking you to be someone else. So wherever you're listening from today, whether you're driving, walking, folding laundry, sitting in silence, or simply needing a moment to breathe, I'm really grateful that you're here. Growing up Catholic, I remember the hymn, Let Peace Begin With Me. And maybe that's what this entire journey has really been about for me. Not creating a perfect book, not creating a perfect brand, not becoming someone else, but returning to myself. I guess that was written a few years back when I named my meditation album Back to Me. You see, Spirit always shows you the way. The signs are there, but we are so busy, we skip right over them. Or if we do notice them, we shrug them off or just say, wow, that's cool, instead of stepping into that connection and riding the wave. And maybe this is your invitation too. something that feels more like home, not a dream or unrealistic, more aligned with the heart of what these pages truly carry. This book was never meant to be a loud self-help book telling you how to fix yourself. My deepest hope is that this book becomes more than something you read. May it become something you feel. May it help you remember. May it bring clarity where there was confusion. Maybe bring peace where there was pressure and belonging where there was once longing. This is your return. So 1 week before the official launch began, I had to dig deep for what feeling I was trying to capture, a cover that feels more like the soul of this book. The book has always been about remembrance, about returning to yourself, and now the cover reflects that too. Not just because it's a book, but because it represents years of unraveling and remembering, ultimately returning. I believe many of us simply lost connection with ourselves beneath the weight of expectations, survival, roles, responsibilities, heartbreak, silence, and the pressure to become who the world needed us to be, especially women who are primarily my clients. More so, women in midlife, the ones who spent years holding everyone else together while quietly drifting further away from themselves. And somewhere along the way, peace became something we visited instead of something we lived from. I had a client tell me the other day, I don't know how much more I can take. I just want peace and happiness. That's really what I want to talk about today. Returning to peace, not the performance of peace you can see on social media, not spiritual perfection you also witness on mainstream. No more pretending everything is fine. Real peace, the kind that happens when your nervous system finally exhales, when your soul no longer has to fight to be heard, when the fragmented parts of yourself begin finding their way back home. And one of the things I explore both inside the book and inside the bonus meditation bundle is something called spiritual fragmentation. Spiritual fragmentation can happen slowly, sometimes through trauma, through people pleasing, especially through grief, which is time when we are the exact opposite, more open than ever to allow something new to come in. Most often, it's through constantly abandoning our own truth just to keep the peace around us. Spiritual fragmentation is what happens when pieces of our true self, our soul essence, get left behind. Sometimes it's from survival. Sometimes it's from just being so focused on caring for others that we forget ourselves entirely. It's the feeling of becoming disconnected from yourself. We've unplugged the light and we forgot to plug it back in to recharge our battery, aka your soul. And like pieces that get left behind in different seasons of your life, the once was a version of you that loved dreaming, and then the version of you who learned to stay quiet just to keep that peace. And the one who became who everyone else needed, my personal favorite, was trying to be what I thought others wanted me to be. That was fun. But eventually, you wake up one day realizing you don't fully recognize yourself anymore. And that's why I recreated the Returning to Peace meditation. It's an experience which is yours for free if you decide to add this book to your bookshelf. It's not just a meditation. It's a gentle return and what I call a soul journey into renewal, reflection, and most importantly, integration. Something I was missing from all the books I read, all the courses I took, and the certification courses I received. Integration of anything new into your life takes time, but more importantly, awareness. For me, the greatest tool to understand what I wanted was discovered through meditation. And this particular one moves into the healing waters of the earth and allow yourself that moment to breathe again, soften and listen to the whispers of your soul. And accompanying the meditation are reflective worksheets designed to help you integrate what surfaces during the experience. Because healing isn't just about awareness, it's about integration. Healing is about a choice each and every time it rears its opportunity, a choice to choose the same thing or something different, to choose rage or anger or compassion, to choose judgment or reflection, to see where and how we can be better, even just for a split second. You choose. It's about allowing yourself to witness what's been disconnected and lovingly call it back home. And this meditation bundle is one of the bonus gifts available with the purchase of You Weren't Born to Fit In. This book is ultimately about belonging, not fitting in, belonging. There's a difference. Fitting in asks you to shapeshift. Belonging asks you to remember. And maybe that's what this season is really inviting all of us into. Whether or not you read the book, my message is this. It's not about becoming someone new, but returning to our true nature. Returning to the voice beneath the noise. And boy, oh boy, is it loud lately. Returning to the wisdom beneath the fear and returning to the self beneath the roles. Returning to peace. A how. How do we return to that peaceful state of being? You begin smaller than you think. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. You don't have to begin a spiritual practice. Here it is. Are you ready? You begin with one conscious pause each day. One moment where instead of immediately reacting or scrolling or fixing or rushing, you pause and you take a breath. That's it. One intentional breath. One moment where you place your hand on your heart and you simply ask, what do I need right now? Not what everyone else needs, not what social media says you should be doing, not what productivity demands, not the dishes in the sink. They don't matter in this moment. You do. And then you listen. Because peace doesn't usually arrive as a lightning bolt. Most of the time, peace returns quietly. This is where I call upon the angel of peace, a serene presence that brings inner serenity and harmony amidst life's changes. This angelic light promotes peace within and your surroundings. So when you don't know what else to do or where else to turn, you call upon this light. This beautiful angel instills a deep and lasting peace. Ask them to guide you, spreading harmony and goodwill, and ask them for serenity to influence your thoughts and your actions. Bring that peace inward. This happens in small moments of awareness. And now is your opportunity to begin to recognize those moments of spiritual fragmentation. It's the part of you that still hears the voice that told you to be quiet, the part that stopped dreaming, the part that adapted, disconnected, disappeared so you could just belong or be safe. But here's something for you. You never stopped being whole. You've just forgotten how to feel it. And this work is about that. Putting the members of your soul body, your light, back together again. That's what this is. That's what this moment is right now. It's not about healing, it's about return. And when you experience spiritual fragmentation, you may feel scattered and tired and you can't rest. You may be overstimulated and numb, like you're doing everything right and still you feel disconnected. That's because there's a part of you calling to come home. This journey back to you isn't about perfection. It's about permission. Permission to be seen, to soften, to recalibrate, and to remember that your energy matters, not just to you, but to the world. It's the feeling that pieces of you are missing, like you're moving through life, but not all of you is here. And maybe your voice feels quiet, maybe your energy feels scattered, and maybe you keep showing up for others, but you can't remember the last time you truly showed up for yourself. That's not failure, that's fragmentation. And the good news, those pieces aren't gone. They're just waiting through presence, through love. You don't need to do anything big. You just need to be willing. Because even a tiny spark of willingness is enough to begin the healing. So take a breath right now and let's step back into alignment together. And eventually, those moments happen more often and you walk with them throughout your day and it becomes your way of being. How incredible does that sound? If these words speak to something deep within you, I'd love to invite you to explore the book and its bonus gifts at michelleirene.com. But before we close today, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this work. Thank you for allowing these conversations to exist in a world that so often asks us to stay disconnected from ourselves. When I first began this self-healing spiritual journey, I wanted to feel supported and seen, and that's what I want to bring for you. I see you, or I wouldn't be here. If this episode touched you in some way, please take a moment to like, share, subscribe, or leave a comment wherever you are listening. Not for the algorithms and not for the numbers, but because sharing your light may help someone else remember theirs. So until next time, breathe gently, listen inward, and trust the sacred return currently unfolding within you.